So, yesterday, I reported that multiple online groups have been linked to Tyler Robinson, the man who authorities believe is responsible for the assassination of Charlie Kirk. One of these was on Discord, another one was on Steam, which is typically used for video games, but that Steam group, that Steam room was called Read This If You're Gay, which obviously mirrors the text that was scrawled on one of the casings. So there definitely is a strong link and a strong connection here. Well, we now have confirmation from both President Trump as well as FBI Director Kash Patel that many individuals are now under investigation, including people who were in those groups. The first notice of this came last night when President Trump was answering questions outside of Air Force One.
Careful. When we attack people, we have to be careful.
You mentioned Charlie Kirk, sir. What organizations on the left do you anticipate investigating? We talked about this last week.
Well, the problem is on the left. If you look at the problem is on the left. It's not on the right, like some people like to say on the right. The problem we have is on the left. And when you look at the agitators, you look at the scum that speaks so badly of our country, the American flag burnings all over the place, that's the left, that's not the right.
Do you plan on investigating?
We'll see. We'll be announcing. They're already under investigation. You know, they're already under major investigation. A lot of the people that you would traditionally say are on the left.
They're already under investigation?
Already under investigation.
Have you asked to start revoking the visas of those who have celebrated Charlie Kirk's death?
What?
Have you asked to start revoking the visas of the foreigners who have celebrated Charlie Kirk's death?
No, we haven't, but we are looking at names. We don't like that. That's not right. We wouldn't celebrate if something happened on their side, and we don't. These are sick people. These are really deranged people.
Any progress on the Fed chairman, sir?
Well, other than I don't like him.
No, but
He's incompetent. The Fed chairman.
So, multiple people under a large investigation, and we now know that this investigation involves at least 20 at a minimum, many of whom are connected to that Steam group that I talked about yesterday. If you missed that video, go back and check it, because I go through screenshots of many of the messages that were left there, and in fact, the moderators of that group pinned a message basically telling people to be very careful and to stop posting in that group and to use encrypted messaging services like Signal, and they posted that message, by the way, on September 10, the night after Charlie Kirk was assassinated. Well, Kash Patel appeared on Fox News this morning, and he confirmed that it is over 20 people, and he gave some new details into the FBI's investigation.
Going back to the group chats real quick, there's more than 20 individuals, but this is a great point. I want to lay out how this works. People think we can just get in these group chats and immediately find out who's in them. We, the FBI, are the investigatory body supporting multiple prosecutions and ongoing investigations. And that's another point. Our investigation at the FBI is ongoing. And there are scores of people in this Discord chat room. But we have to effectuate legal process. We have to go out there with search warrants so that if prosecutors want to later use this evidence, it's not tainted by being illegally obtained. We, the FBI, are running the investigation pointedly on the Discord chat group. There are scores of individuals that are going to be spoken to. There are also lots of family members and friends that have already been spoken to. And one more point on forensics. We were able to obtain in record time the text message chain between the suspect and his live-in partner, as well as other critical cellular information from our CAS team that analyzes cell phone data towers in the area to pinpoint the locations of the suspect and other individuals he was speaking with. This is critical information that the FBI processed and got to prosecutors so they can lawfully use it in a court of law. And our investigation, our interviews continue, but we've learned some shocking things when we spoke to his family and friends as well.
Now, there are a lot of people who are upset with the FBI. Their main criticism is that, well, the FBI had nothing to do with Tyler Robinson being apprehended. And that technically is true because, remember, it was Tyler Robinson's father who turned him in after he confessed. So the FBI obviously had nothing to do with that. However, on the flip side, it's very clear that the FBI is working diligently. They're working very hard to get all of the forensic evidence. It's not just the digital evidence. They've also now gotten DNA, according to the Associated Press. DNA evidence found near scene of Charlie Kirk's shooting matches suspect. So they now have a Tyler Robinson suspect. FBI director says specifically DNA on a towel wrapped around a rifle found near where conservative activist Charlie Kirk was assassinated matched that of the 22-year-old accused in the killing. FBI Director Kash Patel said on Monday. Investigators also have used DNA evidence to link the suspect, Tyler Robinson, with a screwdriver recovered from the rooftop where the fatal shot was fired, Patel told Fox News Channel on Monday. So they are definitely beginning to build a very strong case here in terms of the hard evidence. And this is important because so far the accused, Tyler Robinson, is not cooperating at all. He's not answering questions. There's just no cooperation coming from him. According to all the reports, his family is cooperating. They're answering all questions with the authorities. Even his trans boyfriend is answering questions and cooperating. One of the people who also is on record cooperating is the man who debated Charlie Kirk when he was shot. I actually released a video on that a few days ago where the man took to social media, made a statement, basically said he's been questioned by the police, and he says that the situation really has scarred and moved and changed him for life. Well, on Fox News, Dan Bongino was asked about that very same man, and he had something interesting to say. Again, I'm not making any claims. Just listen to Dan Bongino in his own words.
90 minutes ago in our program, when we get to a couple of things that he made news on, but first I want to drill in on this. Is there any connection at all between the person who was asking the question about mass shooters and trans killers, or was that just a stunning coincidence when that single shot was fired?
Well, we're investigating that. I don't want to say conclusively right now if there was a connection or not. Charlie was known to speak out about these issues. He was a powerful voice. It's not terribly uncommon for him to get questions like that. However, we are looking into that. Any potential connection here,
okay, so
we're going to scrub.
I'm not drawing conclusions from your answer, but you're saying it's a possibility. Is that what I hear you saying?
We're looking into everything, Bill. There's not going to be a stone left unturned if there was anyone involved who aided or abetted. I can't say that in strong enough terms. Every single FBI asset on this team is being applied and used in this investigation.
Okay,
I thought that was a good answer by Dan Bongino, because if it turns out that that man is totally innocent, he has nothing to do with this, I'm glad Dan's not, trying to gin up conspiracy theories. He, is part of the FBI, and so it makes sense that he would say, hey, I can't conclusively speak on this. This is a current investigation, and you're just going to have to wait until we release our findings. I thought that was just a great answer. So in the first clip on Fox News, when they were talking with Kash Patel, Kash mentioned that they discovered some shocking things. Obviously, again, this is an ongoing investigation, so he can't talk about all of those shocking things, but he gives some insights as to the forensic evidence that they got in terms of those text messages from Tyler Robinson. Again, it's just not a good look, and this will certainly be used as evidence against him.
You want to share them? Those shocking things?
Sure. And my job as FBI director is not to speak to motive, is to speak to the facts. And that's what I'm going to do. His family has collectively told investigators that he subscribed to left-wing ideology, and even more so in these last couple of years. And he had a text message exchange, the suspect, with another individual, in which he claimed that he had an opportunity to take out Charlie Kirk, and he was going to do it because of his hatred for what Charlie stood for. Those are factually accurate investigatory findings by the FBI that we've handed over to the local authorities and the federal authorities to make their prosecutorial decisions. But I believe in this instance of such public importance, the public has a right to know. And I've told you I'm committed to transparency, and that's what I'm doing here today.
Why didn't that...
Keep in mind, like I said earlier, like I reported yesterday in that Steam group, and I encourage you to check out that video if you haven't seen it. In that Steam group, they stickied a message from the moderator saying, hey, don't post on here anymore, or if you post, be very careful, and we encourage you to use encrypted services like Signal. So it makes you wonder, like, if they are openly talking that violently and that explicitly via text message, what else is happening on other platforms like Signal? It really is a scary thing to think about. Well, on top of these text messages, there was also a written note by Tyler Robinson that said pretty much the exact same thing. He had the opportunity to take out Charlie Kirk, and he was going to take it. The reason that's important is because you can imagine that, job of a defense lawyer is to defend their client, right? So they're going to do whatever they can, no matter how plausible or crazy or insane the theory is. They're going to use every mechanism. So you can think of all the plot holes and loopholes they would try to find here, right? So, for example, they could potentially argue, well, it's just a text message. Anyone can send a text message from a phone. Maybe someone was framing him. That doesn't prove it was Tyler Robinson. Someone got his phone, sent that text message to make it look like Tyler Robinson. Like, you could see them saying that, right? Well, there is a written letter. Apparently, the letter has been destroyed, but I think it was destroyed via fire, but obviously there has to be some sort of remnant of it, and I would imagine it has Tyler Robinson's DNA on it or whatever evidence for the FBI to be confident that this letter that once existed also said the exact same thing as the text messages. Well, Charlie Kirk, obviously the CEO of Turning Point USA, a huge activist, a fundraiser, a speaker. I didn't know this, but apparently he had a podcast. Well, today, J.D. Vance went on the Charlie Kirk podcast, and in fact, he was hosting the show in honor of Charlie Kirk, and I would like to play a clip of that. But first, I would like to recognize the members of today's Governor's Club. These are people who give tips or super thanks to the channel. Thank you so much. For the sake of time, I'm not going to read everyone's names, but I would like to specifically call out Debbie Zito, Dennis Nevin, Cindy James. Thank you so much for your generous gifts. Betty Black, Michael Wagner, B. Dejian, Beans Gummy, as well as Sheena Ray. Always good to see you. Deanne Berger, Michelle Tran, Agenda Monero. I haven't forgotten your emails. I'm running behind, but I will get to them as I can. And Hope Roberts, thank you so much. I'm glad that you enjoyed. To all the new viewers, new subscribers, I'm thankful you're here, and I'm glad you found the channel. Welcome. Well, J.D. Vance was talking about the impact that Charlie Kirk has had, but also the inspiration that Vance now has as a father. And I just love this moment because talk about humanity. And in a time when we're so polarized, in a time where it's so easy to focus on the rhetoric, we need to be reminded of each other's humanity.
Moments that I share just in the last few days, the books that I've read to my kids, going up to their bedroom and kissing them and hugging them before bed, I just realized that all of these moments that I get to have, Charlie is not able to have them anymore. And Charlie's kids and his beautiful wife are not able to have them anymore. And maybe the best way that I can contribute and the best way that I can honor my dear friend is to be the best husband that I can be, to be the kind of husband to my wife that he was to his. You know, we talked all the time about the most important thing you could do is not vote for a particular candidate. It was to become, if you were a young man, a husband and a father.
I love that because, again, it's not about making this about politics. He said to honor the life of Charlie Kirk. Like, he could have, J.D. Vance could have said, well, I'm going to become a stronger activist. I'm going to become a stronger vice president. I'm going to become whatever. But instead, he was like, no, I'm going to be a better father. I'm going to be a better husband. It just really talks about the humanity in this fragile moment. And that inspired me. I hope it inspired and touches you. I thought that was a great clip. Well, that is the message that J.D. Vance, the vice president of the United States, is putting out there. Yet the media claims we're overreacting. They say that the Trump administration, everyone, including J.D. Vance, is overreacting. Keep in mind, J.D. Vance, like, yes, everyone knew Charlie Kirk, but J.D. Vance was so close with Charlie Kirk that he wanted to actually help carry the casket. Like, it was important for him to do that in honor and remembrance of their friendship. Yet this is the BS that they spewed on CNN.
I mean, and I think the point as well is rarely have we ever seen an administration, and not just the president, but all of his top aides, the vice president included, act or react to a moment like this in such a deeply personal way. And that's what I think, to me, has been so striking to see, the way that they, he ordered flags to be flown at half-mast. He is going to honor Charlie Kirk posthumously with the Presidential Medal of Freedom. I mean, these are things that are a very different response to what we've seen in other cases like this. I think part of it, too.
What do you mean it's a very different response? I seem to remember the left burning up cities and the left acting as if George Floyd was a saint. They had celebrations at the White House. They were all, or not you know what I mean? Like, they were all kneeling, Congress people, Nancy Pelosi. They were going absolutely crazy. And so for them to say that's ridiculous, especially like I just said, the friendship, the personal relationship that Charlie Kirk had with these people, unlike George Floyd, who no one in Washington, D.C. knew. He was just a nobody who they elevated for their own political gain. Which brings me to my next clip, actually, from Don Lemon, because Don Lemon now says that people like me are exploiting Charlie Kirk's death. And as someone who has been YouTubing and creating videos for years, as someone who feels... I mean, I'm sure all of you feel the same way I do. I feel, number one, I feel scared. If it was Charlie Kirk, who's next? And I don't mean just content creators. I mean that in terms of, yes, this was a political assassination, but Charlie Kirk, he wasn't in office. He wasn't a politician. He wasn't a civil servant in the, official sense. He was just someone who decided from the grassroots to rise up and try to inspire people to take action. He was an everyday person just like you and I, and he was silenced for using his own voice. So, of course, that hits me personally. It scares me to think, especially when you see the people cheering this on, when you see the people celebrating, when you see the people literally dancing on the grave and memorials and vandalizing all of that. That's disturbing. Number two, I mean, I can just go down this laundry list. I think we're all on the same page here, but I thought this was a disgusting moment from Don Lemon. And actually, I think Don Lemon should look in the mirror, because can't he use these words against himself?
The thing that is so obvious about it, and I think is so disgusting, is that you don't really care. You don't really care about Charlie Kirk. What you care is that this is a moment that you can use for clicks, to boost your podcast or your streaming show or your radio show or your television show or your news show or your MAGA bona fides with the MAGA group or your political stripes, that you can improve it, or you can have a moment where you're crying in front of the cameras. You gather all the reporters at the Capitol and you go, and it's your fault, and it's your fault, and it's the left and whatever.
Well, if anyone talking about this is doing this for fame, if anyone is doing this for clicks, then why are you talking about it, Don Lemon? Or why don't you just shut up about it completely, if that's how you really feel about it? Maybe we're talking about it, number one, because that's what we do. We talk about the news. And then number two, because he was one of us. Like, how do you not understand? Like, one of us as far as a movement, one of us as far as, like, podcasters and commentators, one of us, like, the list goes on. And at the end of the day, even if you're not on the right side of the aisle, he was one of us as an American. Yes, that includes you, Don Lemon. Yes, that includes you, CNN. Yes, that includes you, MSNBC. Even if you hated what he said, you should have at least defended his right to free speech and say, no one deserves to die for their free speech. It's just absolutely disgusting. As always, all of that is just my analysis and commentary. All of that's what's going on in the world of politics from my point of view, and I would love to hear it from you. So there was this headline on Mediaite, Kash Patel's FBI leadership under fire from top Trump officials, and AG Pam Bondi can't stand him. Blockbuster Fox News report reveals. This is available on the Fox News website. So I'm wondering, what do you think of Kash Patel's performance in all of this? I saw a few comments, a few videos back of people being upset that he went to Utah. They said, hey, this is a conflict of interest. He shouldn't be involved. Do you like that he's being involved? Are you still upset about the Epstein files? Yes, I know that seems so long ago and unrelated, but yeah, believe it or not, the Epstein files are still going to be a controversy. It'll come up later this week. Mike Johnson apparently is stressed about it. So is Kash Patel behind the scenes. And so I guess that's my question. Where is your approval, approve, disapprove of the job that Kash Patel is doing as FBI director? There are rumors, I can't remember if it was just in the Fox News report or on somewhere else, that if Kash is pushed out, the current talk is that he would be replaced by Missouri Attorney General Andrew Bailey. Again, it's just the talk that's coming out. It could be all proven false. Maybe something or nothing happens. Time will tell. But I'd love to know your views on the job the FBI is doing down in the comments below. If you haven't already, please be sure to leave me a thumbs up. I know it's a simple thing to ask for, but it really does help me reach more viewers like you in the algorithm. Be sure to smash that subscribe button and to check out one of these videos.